It's hot out there, but let's blow them off the line of scrimmage. Headline, offense.
Live from the Ram Cave, I'm Joe Trosian, and this is RamView, the January 21st, 2026 edition, brought to you by Kistler Law Firm. Injured in an auto accident, need help, got questions? Kistler Law has got answers for you. Call them at 661-206-6990. That's 661-206-6990. And check out KistlerLawFirm.com. That's one word, KistlerLawFirm.com. Click on that QR code. Kistler Law, they've been fighting for you since 92. And by Temple City Auto Repair. Having some auto issues, get yourself some John and Henry at TempleCityAutoRepair.com. And of course, sports ball games make the Super Bowl more fun, more social, and wager free. Check out sports ball games, growing great friend of RamView. We are so happy to be connected with sports ball games. All right, guys, we are back. I'm a little later than I wanted to. Tuesday is usually my day off. I should have come on yesterday, so we're a little behind because I was at camp. Hey, Rams won, right? So we're all happy. Real quick, let me just do a couple of recaps of the game. I know you guys have done them all, but here's the one that I wanted to get into just a tiny bit. The KBM, the Kiss Butt Media, talked about it, but for the most part, they buried the lead. The lead really should have been on Sunday night. Why didn't Ben Johnson and the Bears go for two, considering it was such a factor in the Rams' disaster up in Seattle? Could you have imagined losing another game on a two-point conversion like the Rams did in Seattle, and this time having their season ended? But Ben Johnson and the Bears didn't go for two. They had the momentum and a quarterback who makes miracles. And the reason, which got buried, was that the Rams won the preponderance of the money downs. Yes, the Bears were 9 of 19 on third down, but every time it really counted, the Rams stepped up. The Bears were 3 and 6 on fourth down, 3 of 6 on fourth down, but every time it mattered, the Rams defense stepped up. Jared Verse, 2 tackles for losses, and other players made fantastic plays. Cam Curl, and this included 3 stops in the red zone by the Rams defense. So that was the lead that got buried, is that was certainly in the back of Ben Johnson's mind when he made the call. And, that's a tough call to make for any coach. I completely get it. You're at home, tie the game up, winning in overtime. The crowd's on your side. You got a red hot quarterback. I get what he's thinking there, but in retrospect, I got to make 2 yards and I eliminate this team. And I don't have to look at Matthew Stafford with the ball with the game on the line again. So it was a tough call, and that was the lead, and I felt it got buried. Let me knock out a couple other things, too, that I'm hearing. Only if you didn't see DJ Moore play all year, the Bears wide receiver DJ Moore, only if you didn't see him play all year, would you say, would you say he tanked it on that pass pattern when Cam Curl got the pick? Curl made a great play. Caleb Williams threw a suspect pass, and dogging it is not in DJ Moore's DNA. You've seen him in big games all year. If he was moving slow, it wasn't for any kind of reason. Could have been he was lit up pretty good during the course of this game, but he is not a guy that dogs it, not at all. My third point was, I wanted the Rams to run the ball more. I was right there with you. And then McVay picked it up there at the end. And I had no problem with the aggressive passing. I do like it to a point where McVay's going to come out and say, I got Matthew Stafford. I got Puka Nacua. I got Devontae Adams. I'm not afraid of any weather situation. I'm coming after you. And I think at a certain point, instead of the bluster and the confidence, you had to come back and play a more cerebral game. And I think that cerebral aspect was invoking the running game down the stretch. I wasn't happy with the pass rush. No sacks. But they did get 5 hits and 19 hurries, and Williams did experience some pressure, and he got lit up on a couple plays. One where I think that was the one penalty that went against the Rams was the late hit on Williams. And I'm all for that. I'm good with that. That doesn't bother me at all. I don't need the sacks as the apples hanging from the tree that look all pretty. What I need with the quarterback is just to be really, really uncomfortable. And I felt the Rams did just enough of that. Yeah, and I always said the Rams never play well in Soldier Field, but they held a high-powered offense to 10 points. Now, eliminate the miracle 6 at the end, and it was 10 points they held them to. They stopped them in the red zone. They didn't turn the ball over. The Rams didn't. That one penalty, and they were absolutely unintimidated by the crowd and the weather. The weather was not an excuse. The weather wasn't going to be an excuse. And I got something else to tell you. The weather and the crowd in Seattle this Sunday will not be an excuse and will only be a factor if somehow the Rams regress in the next 4 or 5 days. So this issue here is not that big of an issue in terms of home field advantage. For the record, Devontae Adams did make that catch, and so did Brandon Cooks the day before in Denver. Had to get that one in there on Saturday night. I didn't have a problem with him going to Ferguson on the final drive in OT before the kick. I'm really happy when I see those things because what you're seeing is trust. First, it wouldn't be on the field if McVay didn't trust them. That's why Atwell's not activated. And I understand McVay is saying special team performers, you needed all those things, and I believe it. But when you're throwing to Kanata Mumpfield, right, when you've got Xavier Smith getting a lot of snaps, when you're throwing to your rookie Ferguson, who's on the cusp, and they made that throw at the end and he darn nearly caught it, I got no problem at all. No problem at all. Caleb Williams easily could have thrown 4 or 5 picks in that game. There was a third one that Kobe Durant nearly got his mitts on. And then on the 4th down play, Omar Spates at the goal line, he almost went full James Harrison on that play. He could have picked that ball off and gone to the rack with that one. Spates, Curl, Verse were fantastic. Curl and Quentin Lake never came off the field. And then I have to just share this last one here. Well, let me do one more. It was surprising given the weather, for the Rams moving off of 13 personnel as much as they did. But I'm sure that is something the Bears prepared for, and McVay flipped the script. And, the Rams going 13 personnel, 11 personnel, that's like Rocky Balboa going conventional and going back to southpaw. The Rams just are that much more that you have to account for going into next week and for any team going forward. But I want to finish with this before I'll go to the questions here, anything that's come in. I do appreciate you guys coming in and clicking on. It's been so long. It was really interesting. What offense was considered more dangerous, Seattle or Chicago? Well, the Rams won in Chicago. And without a miracle and a little bit of a push-off, I mean, that's how Michael Irvin got into the Hall of Fame, but without a miracle, the Bears only scored 10 points, right? And Seattle will be without Zach Charbonnet, who's a huge component to that Seattle running game. And he's the one that gets a lot of those yards between the tackles. Kenneth Walker is good, but Kenneth Walker could be banged and bruised and roughed up a little bit, right? He's a home run hitter, but you could still hurt him quite a bit. Zach Charbonnet is really good when he's gone. But that Bears offense, DeAndre Swift, all those receivers, the Rams acquitted themselves really, really well. Of course, we wanted it to be easier. We wanted it to be better. We wanted it to be a blowout. We didn't want to stress. That game ended what time? 6:30, 7 o'clock on the West Coast. I didn't start watching that game until close till 1 in the morning, recorded. And fortunately, everyone kept quiet, and I didn't know. I didn't know anything that had happened. All right. Wow, you guys really rolled in. Michael Negretti, my name is Joe Terozzi, and I was a sports writer for 21 years. And now I do RamView, thanks to our sponsors at Kistler Law. And we want to say thank you to them. I was one of the founding members at Mid-Valley Sports. And now Mid-Valley Sports covers the Chargers. I get to cover the Rams. And I write books, and I do RamView, and it supports me in my day job as I pastor a small church in Burbank called Burbank Faith Nazarene. And you can follow us right here on YouTube and across social media at Burbank Faith Virtual, burbankfaithvirtual.com, and all across Burbank Faith Virtual across social media. So nice to meet you, Michael Negretti. Richard Ramos, how's it going, gentlemen? We're all a lot better, Richard. We're all feeling good. Rams house, Juice Man. Are we feeling good about this weekend? Everyone's feeling good, Juice Man. I'm so proud of our defense keeping us in that game. Durant with the huge INTs and Cam Curl, yeah. D-line was impressive. They did what they had to do. They shut down that running attack and didn't allow it to become something to make things easier for Caleb Williams. We need that defense to show up in Seattle. And that is something I'm going to break down here in a minute. I'm going to talk about the Seattle offense today and how it matches up a little bit with that Ram defense, who's good, who's overrated, what we should be looking for. Let's keep going. Ben Johnson's $5 Steve. Ben Johnson said he didn't go for the 2-point because lack of success inside the 2. As for Seattle, it had to go for 2 of Rams because it gave the Rams the tiebreaker. Okay, good point. Good point. But again, I think that was the story, man. That was the story. And it would have been my lead, Steve. It would have been my lead because that was everything. Gilbert Gonzalez, what a difference Lake makes on defense. Got his legs back under him this week, right? A little more mobile, moved around quite a bit more. So that was a good sign. D-line needs to do better. Yeah, I want sacks. I do want sacks, but when I looked at the stats, they had 19 pressures, 19 hurries, 5 hits. At least they moved him off the spot a little bit. If they had rushed Kirk Cousins like that a few weeks ago, they would have crushed Atlanta. But they didn't even get that kind of a rush on Kirk Cousins. Caleb Williams escaped a couple of situations there. Not optimal, but he can escape those. And so I felt they forced him to run a little bit. Brian Smith, let's see what Brian says. Charbonnet being out will be bigger than I think most people realize. Yeah, I do too. I think it's a big deal. I don't think Kenneth Walker is built for full-time punishment, right? I don't think he is. Let's see here. Bill from Philadelphia, I hope you're above the snow. They keep on saying Stafford isn't playing well in the playoffs, but he led to the Rams to their winning TD and field goals. Anyone that bags on Matthew Stafford doesn't know football. There you go. Again, we can disagree. We can disagree with McVay passing probably too much when he could have grounded out a little bit more. But let me tell you, the reason he does that is because he's got supreme confidence in his Hall of Fame quarterback. I don't listen to people bagging on Stafford. I don't listen to him at all, you know. He did that because he trusted Stafford. And I think that's just – I don't think it was intended to be. But I look at it, it's like the Rams aren't going to back down. You got a quarterback like that? I don't care what the weather is. Did you see him throw the ball in Philly last year in that snowstorm? He is going to keep coming at you, right? Going back to a Balboa thing, you know. Apollo Creed could keep knocking him down. Drago could keep knocking him down. Clubber Lane could keep knocking him down. They can keep getting knocked down. The Mason, the Line Dixon can keep knocking him down. But he's going to keep coming at you. And no way. Yeah, Stafford. To me, Stafford is aces. Richard Ramos, what an exciting game. Rams house through and through. Now, I will say this. I don't like exciting games. I just don't. I don't like exciting games. I don't want to see exciting games. I want to see 40 burgers and 50 burgers. I think the Seahawks took advantage and had a great opportunity to play against an overbloated, overachieving San Francisco team. Full credit, Kyle Shanahan, Robert Saleh, make them coaches and defensive coaches of the year. Baling wire, duct tape, right? And full credit, everything there. And they just didn't have enough. And a good team would have handled them. Philly had too much between the ears. You saw what the Rams did to them at Levi a few weeks ago. Who did they play afterwards? They barely beat a Bear team in Levi. Also, remember, Phillip Rivers racked them up for tons of yardage, and if not for some failures by his teammates, could have beaten them in Indy down the stretch this season. The Seahawks caught them at just the right time, and then they were without Kittle. Great season for Frisco, but I don't think I'm going to get all hyped up on how great Seattle is because they whooped Frisco. I just don't see it, right? Yeah, it's like saying, you know, I don't know, I'm going to make another boxing reference. Your fighter beat Dwayne Bobbitt, right? Everybody beat Dwayne Bobbitt. All right, Slim Hansen from Iowa, thank you for coming on. I am confident they can beat the Hawks. Did once. Play defense, and they will win by 4. Is that what you're saying? You're saying by 4? All right, I'll take it. I'd like 10. I want a 2-possession win. Let's hit the like button, Ramley. Thank you, Juice Man. You're always thinking of me. Thank you. Gilbert Gonzalez. Williams made 1 great throw and 3 bad interceptions. Did you guys see the play at the goal line that Spates could have took that he got his hand on the ball and just a different grab, a different reach. He could have picked that thing off and taken it to the house. And then later on the deep seam throw, when the ball went through the receiver's hands, Durant almost had a shot at a 3rd interception. I think Caleb Williams is really good, but run along to Camp Snoopy, man. You're not with the big boys yet. Slim Hansen, get after Sam Bradford and get him shaken up. There you go. Get him shaken up. I kind of had a soft spot for Sam. I thought he played the 2 healthy years he had before the injuries set in. He was betrayed by his organization. And then when the Rams defense started getting really good, that's when all the injuries set in. Brian Smith, Seattle's Charles Cross is day-to-day with a foot injury. I did not know about the foot injury. I saw he played 36 snaps. Should have done better homework. And I thought they were just limiting him in a blowout because he had just come back from the hamstring. I don't think he had played since week 15. I think Verse will play well if Cross goes. Darnold not being as mobile as Caleb will help Verse as well. Yeah, I felt there was a little more eye of the tiger, especially in Verse and those guys. We've seen Verse pancake Charles Cross, and I did not know about the foot as well. And it's really their strength are their tackles, Charles Cross and Abe Lucas. I'm not crazy about their interior. Let's see. $5 Steve. Which pass was better? Williams' TD pass to tie it or Stafford's throw to Williams on the winning drive? It's closer than people think. The thing about the touchdown pass is when I'm seeing him scramble back to the 40 and him just heaving it up, I don't think there was anybody on the planet thought that thing was going to be caught, right? To me, that's something that may never be repeated again in all of if Williams plays another 15 seasons, right? I don't think it's ever going to be repeated again. Stafford is proven science, man. He's repeatable. Let's see. Rams are very healthy right now. Yeah, it seems like there's nothing major floating around with this team. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen anything yet. If it comes up, let me know. I'm perfectly happy to be proven wrong by you guys. Pastor Joe McVay, this is Michael Negretti, needs to call a better game. He even said he didn't call a good game. Here's an idea. Let Matthew Stafford make the calls. I'll say 2 things. 1, McVay owned it. 2, I think it was bravado. I think it was I think it was just firm belief in his plan, which is awesome. He adjusted at the right time. I am surprised on a couple of plays, given his experience, that there's a couple of times that we pull out, we take a timeout when Stafford maybe could say, this ain't cool. I'm audibling at the line. But I'm sure that's a system they have worked out. I used to be into the whole quarterbacks calling their own plays. That used to be a thing when we were kids. I think that was the ding. I'll let $5 Steve help me with that one. But that was one of the dings against Roger Staubach because Landry was a control freak. But obviously it was success. But Bradshaw called his own plays. I think Bradshaw called his own plays. And there's a great scene in the highlight film in Super Bowl 14. You got Bradshaw talking to Chuck Noll. And Chuck Noll is telling him, hey, man, you're not going to beat the Rams with short passes. You're going to have to go deep, and it's not too much longer that he had those 2 fourth-quarter throws to Stallworth, no thanks to Eddie Brown. But I trust McVay, right? I trust McVay. McVay has been saying he needs to do better for 9 years. Hey, 9 seasons, 7 playoff appearances, 2 Super Bowls. McVay's never lost an NFC championship game. We got that going for us, which is nice, right? Bears tight end pushed off more than Drew Pearson. Well, I think there's a certain thing that comes in the NFL that if you wear 88 for the Dallas Cowboys, the exception being Ron Sellers, who wore 88, no one remembers what Ron Sellers did. But Drew Pearson, Michael Irvin, Des Bryant, CD just drops balls. But yeah, I thought it was a push off. I did. Let's see. Slim Hansen going to the Super Bowl and playing the Pats again. Great point. I came to a conclusion before I came on the air. I was batting things around. It's in Denver, and I'm wondering, I'd like to play the Patriots just to get some closure, right? When I was a Dodger fan, 81 was a closure to 77 and 78. You know what I mean? 88 for me, Dodgers A's was closure for the 74 World Series. I'm a bitter soul. I'm spiteful. I remember. I have a long memory on those things. I know love keeps no memory of wrongs, but sports does. And I want to play the Patriots, but I'm actually leaning. I'll give picks on Friday, but I'm actually leaning towards the Broncos in this one. I just am. They're counted out, right? Jarrett Stidham, this is his shot, man. This is his Nick Foles moment, right? Let it rip, man. Just let it rip and see what happens. And I think that's a freedom. And no one's going to hold Sean Payton or the Broncos responsible or really point a finger if they blow this game. Everyone's kind of leaning Drake May and the Patriots. But I just get a feeling that they're a young team. They didn't look perfect against the Texans either. So I got an assumption here. I'm just feeling it that the Broncos could pull something, so to speak. Let's see. But I would like the Patriots for payback. Who is this here? Who do we got here? Bill, who do you start now? McCreary or Forbes? I go Forbes. If he can play, I go Forbes. He got trucked. It was easy to see why he went out of that game. But yeah, I'd go Forbes. Keep all your options open. Keep everyone out there. Keep rotating guys in. Hey, Kobe Durant, man, that's 3 interceptions in 2 playoff games. That guy's playing for a second contract. I think he wants to stay in Los Angeles. Let's see. Slim Hansen out of Iowa again. Rams know the Seahawks. They know how to beat them. Familiarity is everything. It goes both ways, though. I think McDonald is a pretty down coach. He wants a piece of this world, too. So I do see it being tough, but can't you also see something just like breaking wide open? Like it's really tight. Well, it was tight in that second game. And then the Rams went up 30-14 with 13:36 to play, and then it all fell apart. So they do know how to beat them. I'm not going to argue anything about that. Mike Gutierrez, I can't wait for this weekend's heart attack. I would prefer this weekend's celebration, right? I would prefer an absolute blowout so I can just relax, because I made a commitment during Super Bowl week, and I'm usually one of those guys that I will watch the Super Bowl alone before I watch it with anybody that's not invested. And I made a commitment, and I have to honor the commitment, and I'm going to honor the commitment. I will be watching the Super Bowl, and I'll be watching it with some good football people, but there's also going to be some other football people I don't want to talk about that are not really, I don't know. I'm just a snob when it comes to those things. If the Rams were to get bounced, I'd probably enjoy the Super Bowl more, but I want to enjoy this one. So if the Rams can get a blowout, I'd really appreciate it. Stafford's stats at Seattle are premium. Tim Burns, he lit those dudes up, man. 500 yards of total offense. They lit those dudes up. And I did hear Colin Cowherd say today, there's no doubt about it, the Seahawks defense is better. Rams got 500 yards on those guys. So, boom. Okay, Brian Smith. McCreary is injured. Okay, I didn't see any news report. Thank you for bringing that up. Hamstring. Is it a questionable or is he a doubtful? Did they release that? I think they released that after I went on the air, the injury report. Is it a questionable or is it a doubtful? I hope it's just a questionable. Slim Hansen, look at the stats for the last 2 games. They played pretty even. Yeah, they broke that down. 1 point and 1 yard separate them of total offense. Pretty amazing. Bill, is the Kevin Dotson revenge a Rams advantage? You keep hearing that it wasn't, and then it was, and it was deliberate, and it wasn't deliberate, and they said that wasn't the thing that took him out. But, you heard Baker Mayfield today take a shot at Kevin Stefanski, And then you think about Michael Jordan, always they said creating issues so he could play harder. If Kevin Dotson thinks I got to get even with these guys, that when he's banging with Byron Murphy and Leonard Williams and Jaron Reed and those interior dudes, then let him use it, man. Let him use it to fuel the fire. All right, let's go. Let's see. Mike Gutierrez, I have no doubt Seattle will follow Chicago's game plan and blitz us all night. All right. I'm going to stop right there. The New England Patsies of the Bowl. I will come right back to this, guys. I want to rattle off a couple of things. Forgive me, right here. Let's see here. I wanted to look at Philly. Rams, Seattle. There we go. Again, I'll come back to this. Does Seattle really have a home field advantage? They didn't have to travel, yeah, and they got an extra day's rest. Okay, that works. Anyone would take that. But they're not going to have a blizzard up there, and hostile crowds for the Rams are nothing new. After watching the Rams, the way the Rams performed in Philly and how they performed in Chicago last week, and I'm talking about Philly last year, does the idea of being on the road, right? This isn't the 70s anymore. This isn't the whole fear of the Metropolitan Stadium there in Bloomington, Minnesota. Those things are gone, right? The worse the weather, I think it's better for the Rams. I don't think they're fearful of this. I think, as Steve tapped into on my last broadcast, it is true. Like George Allen said, all weather is Ram weather. So I don't think they have a home field advantage. And like I did against the Bears, I feel confident. As I said, for all intents and purposes, they held the Bears to just 10 points. Now, the Seahawks have an absolute stud in JSN. Absolutely. Darnold is good. Kenneth Walker is good. And they work with their tight ends pretty well, right? But I don't like their interior. I don't like their center, Jalen Sundell, and I don't like their right guard, Anthony Bradford. And their left guard, Gray Zabel, as a rookie, has had a decent year, but he hasn't been a game changer yet. He's not John Hanna. He's not Zach Martin. And so these things going against our front line, which is playing I think our front, the Rams front, is playing some of the best ball they've played all year. And the Puna Ford dividends are rolling in. We're seeing not only Kobe Turner gone to another level, we're seeing Braden Fisk get back to where he was last year. We're also seeing, besides Puna Ford, we're also seeing Tank Davis developing. I don't know if Ty Hamilton is out there just yet, but we're seeing all that stuff shaping up along the line. So I feel really good there. Charles Cross, as I noted, played only 36 snaps. But I did not know about the foot injury. I thought in the blowout they were just easing him back in. Right tackle Abe Lucas. Rams have played against these guys. Rams have been successful against these guys. You shouldn't write them off, but the Rams have played well against them. And then again, 13 minutes to play, Rams are up 30-14. Remember that of those first two scores by the Seahawks, one of those was touchdown run by Kenneth Walker at the start of the second half. That was blown assignments, blown lanes. Ty Hamilton was in the game there, and Walker took it to the house. But that was a big defensive breakdown. The punt return, right? And then the touchdown pass to Barner, to A.J. Barner, where Darnold went back across the field. I view that just as a little bit of a fluke. So, and of course, there was that gift 2-point conversion. So everything was a total confluence of disaster. And I don't think that's going to happen again. I don't expect another breakdown. So defensively, I think the Rams are going to be in good shape against this Seattle offense. And I wanted to share one other thing here. Let me share this with you about Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold, it's not just the last two games he's played the Rams, but the two games he played in 2024 against the Rams, the Thursday night game with Minnesota, and then the game the Rams played in Arizona in the first round of the playoffs. In the last four games against the Rams, Sam Darnold has been picked off 7 times. He's been sacked 16 times, and he's had a fumble. So I said in the offseason when they moved off of Geno Smith and went to Sam Darnold, yeah, it was an improvement, but Sam Darnold doesn't scare me. Sam Darnold still doesn't scare me. What scares me is the Rams not coming to play. So I'm feeling really confident about this Rams win. All right, Brian Smith, let's get to you. New England Patsies to the Bull, eh? I think people are going to say them, right? They got the healthy quarterback, but I want payback. I just want to get to the Super Bowl, right? But I want payback. I am spiteful. Let's see here. Pastor Joe, the Rams should call Aaron Donald and ask him to stand on the sidelines so Darnold could see ghosts. That would be funny. That would be funny. Do you think Geno Smith dreams of Aaron Donald? Let's see. Brian Smith, glad Saleh is gone and San Francisco doesn't get 2 more third-round picks for his departure. Man, dude, you're taking my notes. Yes, he needed to stay for a second year for them to pick up those 2 third-round picks because he went to Tennessee. That is really good news for the Rams. And Nate Schalise, is that how you pronounce it? The Rams passing game coordinator has been listed as a finalist with the Cleveland Browns. If he goes as a finalist, the Rams get 2 third-round picks. One of them will be included in this year's draft, and that means the Rams will have 5 picks in the first 3 rounds. Now, this pick will probably be out of the top 100. Usually that third-round compensation pick is about 104, 105. But yeah, I was really thrilled to do that. I did my homework too today, Brian. Dog coming in here and stealing my thunder. Bill, a couple of good hits on Donald could affect Donald's oblique injury and affect him in the second half. Yeah, he didn't have to do a whole lot this past week. That's all possible, right? That's all possible, right? I just hope the Rams are smelling blood. That's what I really want. I just want sharks smelling blood. There is no news that McCreary hurt his hamstring again. Okay, maybe somebody needs to go out there and double down. Hit Turf Show Times, Ramblin' Fan, Ram Boards, Ramwire. I haven't looked at those places today. Let me know. Tim Burns, how does San Fran feeling it's one of us at their house for a Super Bowl? Now, here's the revenge tour, right? Of course, Chicago is kind of out of that, but you won in Carolina. If you can go to Seattle, you revenge that win, right? Now, if you can win the Super Bowl in Levi Stadium, you plant the flag there in the 49er Stadium, that would rock. And then to do it against the Patriots would really, really clean house of a lot of these bad mojo. So I would love to see it happen like that, but I'll take it against the Broncos. Brian Smith, thought McCreary's hammy kept him out of the Chicago game. Body blue, raised arms. I thought he played in Chicago. I saw him play. Let's see. Mike Gutierrez. McCreary played 42 snaps in Chicago, gave up 0 yards. Okay. Okay, so we got clarity there. So we still got Roger McCreary. Bill, did you think there was a push-off of the miracle play? Oh, yeah, I thought so. Totally, I thought so. Absolutely. Brian and everybody agreeing. Let's see. USA Expat, thanks for joining us. I trust McVay, but I still don't trust the refs. Yeah. Honestly, I thought Brandon Cooks made the catch. He made the catch. His knee was down. And then as he was rolling over, he was already touched. You know, if you're doing that and you're not touched, that's one thing to hold on to the ball. And I keep talking about a bobble. That bobble seems a little ambiguous there. I thought that was a catch, right? Not that because I was rooting for the Bills. I thought it was a catch. And they easily could have done the same thing to Devontae Adams. So there's no consistency here, right? Just no consistency. I don't want the Pats. I don't trust Kraft. He's a proven cheater. Okay. The part that scares me is that Vrabel always had his teams ready to play against the Rams when he was in Tennessee. Slim Hansen, weather good on Sunday. 25 degrees here in the AM, 40 wind chills. That's Iowa. I don't know what the weather is in Seattle. I haven't looked at it because as soon as the Rams finished that game in Chicago, I said, forget it. Forget it, man. I'm not worried about Ram weather, and the weather should never be an excuse for this Ram team. Rams need to kick kickoffs and punts out of bounds. Fully agree. You want to take away those momentum grabbers, right? The fourth down play when you probably should just kick a field goal, the blocked punt stuff, all those things. You definitely want to avoid big moments. Take Rashid Shaheed out of the game as much as possible. Gilbert Gonzalez, wouldn't it be great if the Rams special team does something to win the game? Block a kick, return one for a TD, winning field goal. That would be the icing on the cake ESG, thank you for joining us. I don't think it matters what anyone thinks at all. And all that matters is K-Dot thought it was intentional. There you go. And if he uses that, then let him rip, man. Let him rip. Bill, Rams can look at when Seattle Seahawks played the Colts, and the Colts played them tight with Phillip Rivers at Seattle. I'm not going to argue that with you at all. Let's look at a couple more here. Guarantee. Our defense wants redemption after giving up the lead to Seattle last time. Who is Seattle's backup quarterback? You know what? I was going to say Drew Lock, but I don't think it's Drew Lock anymore. I'm not sure. Someone look that up. Who is? Because not Sam Harrell either. All right. I'm Joe Jarosian, and we are sponsored by Kistler Law. Get the compensation you deserve. Check out Kistler Law. Click on that QR code. And also here by Sports Ball. And be sure to check them out. They are pretty cool. You know, sometimes people get too caught up in the gambling stuff and it feels pressure. But if you want to have fun talking trash with your friends, you know, if you're looking for a way to bring your crew together on game day without the stress of gambling or fantasy overload, try Sports Ball games. Free pick'em and squares, live leaderboards, bragging rights built in. One click and you're in. No fees, no spreadsheets, no headaches. Just sports fun for your whole group to enjoy. Whether you're cheering from the break room or the backyard, Sports Ball Games makes every game day a team event. Play for fun, brag for real. You can see the code there, right there, Sports Ball Game. Just be sure to check that out, sportsball.com. I'm actually going to be doing one of those when we get to the other side of the NFC Championship games, getting ready for the Super Bowl. And I'd love to do that with you guys. And I'll be pushing this more and more going forward. Be sure to check out my books on Amazon, especially Game Day in the Ram Cave. I didn't load up an image of it, but you guys know what it looks like. All right. I wanted to get to a couple things that looking at the year in review, we said, most of us right here said, we were talking about it, high end for the Rams this year for the regular season would be 13-4. Low end, we said 11-6. Rams finished 12-5. I know I pushed it. I said for the Rams season to be considered successful, they needed to go to the conference final, if not further. Well, they've reached the conference final. All right. This is one I pushed quite a bit. I did advocate that Kyron Williams would fix his fumbling problem. He fumbled 8 times in the previous 2 seasons, 9 if you count the playoffs in 23 and 24. In 2025, he's only fumbled twice. Week 4 against Indy, and then the killer in week 5 against Fog City. That was October 2nd, over 3 months ago, and over 200 carries ago. He's really tightened it up. Now, knock on Formica, everything keeps going well. I was also looking at some notes. We said that Philly would be a playoff team, but that they would take a step back, and they did. But I also said Tampa Bay was my dark horse team, and they fell off the rails. And then, of course, my other line here was Sam Darnold doesn't scare me, and he still doesn't scare me. The only thing that scares me about Sam Darnold is what the Rams allow him to do. Let's see. Did anyone look up, see who the backup quarterback is? Mike Gutierrez. Aaron Donald did say he's going to the game. Well, good for Aaron Donald, man. Absolutely. Just put a jersey on him. No pads. Just put a jersey on him. The word in Philadelphia is the offensive coordinators are staying away because of Jalen Hurts' limitation. I read that. I did read that, ESG. Yeah, I'd love to get an update from the local scene there with Bill in Philly to tell us what everyone's thinking. Seahawks has 7 players listed as limited on the injury report, including Leonard Williams, DeMarcus Lawrence. Jackson Smith, JSN. I did not see that one. But think about Leonard Williams, DeMarcus Lawrence, good pros, but these guys each have a decade of experience, right, of tread on their tires. And maybe just winding down a little bit at the end of the season. I did not see JSN. Clay Martin is the ref this weekend. We are undefeated in our last 7 games he has called. Boy, that's good homework, man. That's good homework. I never do the referee homework. I just lump them all into one batch. USA Expat, tell Puka not to flex his muscles to avoid taunting calls. Yeah, I have you anybody noticed? What was that, about a month now ago, maybe 6 weeks ago? Remember when Puka was filming in the locker room and doing some stupid stuff and everything? Have you noticed that's all tightened up now? It's all kind of gone away, right? Michael Negretti. Pastor Joe, it's time to unleash Tutu. You know, no injuries, no, now McVay said part of the reason was because of special teams that they went with the other receivers as opposed to Tutu. And if nothing has changed, and if special teams are the one that you want to keep strong, and there's no injuries, man, I don't know if Tutu's going to see the field. I don't think he's going to see the field. I would love for him to get the game winner, but I don't think it's going to happen. Tribe, good to have you, Tribe. Joe, I think the Charbonnet loss is huge. Kenneth Walker never does as good without him. And he's not a bell cow. I don't view Kenneth Walker as a bell cow. Zach Charbonnet is really important, and we were hitting on that earlier in the show. Absolutely. I think we're very much agreed on that. Weather, Sunday, mostly sunny, 45 degrees. Sounds like Ram weather. It is Drew Lock. All right. I usually pride myself on knowing the backup quarterbacks. Yeah, it was the year before he was in New York, and then he came back to Seattle. Milrose of Alabama is number 3. Yeah, he's been inactive for a while. He's their third guy, right? There you go. Manny Vasquez, after the game in Chicago, the 40s weather in Seattle is going to feel like 70 of the Rams players. Yeah. Back to short sleeves, which a lot of them wore. I'm glad you knocked on wood for – no, it was for Micah. It was for Micah I knocked on for Kyron Williams. But give the kid props where props are due, right? Give the kid props where props are due. And if he blows it, then we just rip him a new one, right? ESG, like the old single goals, you have to lose before you win. We've lost the last 2 years. It's our time. And you know what? That season in 2023, we weren't even supposed to be there. Vegas said the Rams were going to win 4.5 games. We were here on the show. I think some of you were with us. We were talking about high end for the Rams that year was 10 wins. I think low end, we were talking 8 and 9 because we looked at the schedule. And the Rams, again, if there was a kicker that McVay had confidence in, if there was just remember we were getting a lot of blitzes up the middle with Ernest Jones. And if they just had one more guy, it could have been completely different there in Detroit. And then last year, I don't know how much hope everyone had going to Philly. I don't. But the fact that with everything that went on in that game, the big Jalen Hurts run, the big Saquon runs, the defense played outstanding and literally 13 yards. 13 yards. And Bo Limmer looking left instead of right. And there's a name from the past. Anyone remember? Can someone tell me what happened to Bo Limmer? Is he working in a car wash now or what? What's going on with Bo? I thought he had a future. Let's see here. Johnny Boiler, thank you, guy. Thank you for clicking on. Be sure to hit subscribe. We do appreciate you being here. Defense need to do the same thing and make some interceptions. Now, I will say this. When Darnold was in the playoff game against the Rams with the Vikings last year, they sacked him 9 times. When he was in SoFi this year in the win the Rams had, he threw 4 picks, but the Rams didn't have a sack. We know that, yeah, we want the sacks, right? I want the sacks too. But we also know that if you pressure Darnold, if you get pressure on him, he's going to make that wild throw, right? I know Colin Cowherd likes to equate Sam Darnold's recklessness with Matthew Stafford, and it's a bad equation. It's a real bad equation. Generally, Stafford knows when to eat the ball. Darnold doesn't know when to eat the ball, and will continue to try to make chicken soup out of chicken cheese, right? And that's proper Nazarene translation. And so yeah, Darnold is going to make the bigger gaffe. Stafford will live to fight another day and just take the hit. And so if they get pressure on him and there's no sacks but 5 interceptions, 3 interceptions, I'm down. If they get no interceptions but 9 sacks, I'm down with the get down on that. But yeah, the defense needs to play to its definitely up to its potential. If defense plays to its potential, we don't have an issue. Why did the Rams stop going to Whittington? He looked sharp. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if Whittington is a utility guy. He blocks and everything. But Mumfield, if you notice, Mumfield's just getting more and more looks. And maybe as a receiver, he's a little sharper in his routes. I don't know. I just love it when you see them throw the ball to these guys because it's the absolute trust, right? It's the absolute trust. And it makes those 7th round picks, those 6th round picks, man, I'll always say this. Ben Skoranek gave the Rams what? 2 seasons? Was it 3 seasons? And Ben Skoranek, for a 7th round pick, I think he was 249 overall, playing in the Super Bowl, that guy had McVay's trust, and you got plenty of clicks out of that. So when you get those kind of clicks out of a 7th rounder, we're getting exceptional clicks out of Mumfield now for a 7th rounder. We've gotten exceptional clicks out of Whittington as a 6th rounder, and I really like those guys. I do. But it doesn't mean I wouldn't draft Mekhi Lemon if he's available at number 13. Bill. Where's he at? All right, Bill. I see the Rams ending 5 players, carrying off the thicker kicker, win 33-30. I hope that's how it ends. But I don't want it to end that way. I'd like it to be 33-3. Spare my heart some frustration. I don't want to break anything, I don't want to slam anything. ESG, after playing in Chicago, Seattle's defense is like playing in Cabo. Absolutely. Let's see here. Manny Vasquez. I hope Sheila gets aggressive. We know Darnold can be Shula gets aggressive. We know Darnold can be rattled. Absolutely. Gonna have to be more than 5 players. There you go, Steve. All right. I think I caught up with you guys. Keep throwing them out there. Let's look around the NFL and other places. The Dolphins, the Miami Dolphins have hired former Green Bay defensive coordinator Jeff Hafley. He was the head coach, I think, at Boston College. I don't know. I guess it works. I just think the Dolphins got problems innumerable, and I don't think I'd want that job. Baltimore is interviewing Chargers DC Jesse Minter. Giants, of course, hired John Harbaugh. That was exciting for them. Atlanta has hired Kevin Stefanski, and Stefanski is taking Tommy Rees with him as his offensive coordinator. And yes, right here in red that Brian Smith ruined for me, Robert Saleh goes to Tennessee. And I thought they were getting the 2 3s as compensatory picks because of the Rooney Rule. But it says under league rules, qualifying minority candidates must have been employed by a team for at least 2 consecutive seasons before being hired away for a head coaching or general manager position. In addition, there must be no break in employment between teams. So no 2 third-round picks for Robert Saleh, who nobody knew was Middle Eastern until the NFL decided he was. Cleveland Rams passing game coordinator Nate Schalise, considered a hot property, is a finalist for the Brown job. Hope he gets it. That's 2 number 3s in the Rams' back pocket this year and next year. And if you know you got it next year as well, that can play into any kind of trade up. Pittsburgh has interviewed Mike McCarthy. Buffalo has interviewed Joe Brady. But Brian Daboll is lurking in the shadows. Okay, I heard this rumor in a couple of places today. And I literally, I just shook my head. I couldn't believe it. I heard talk about the Raiders trading number 1 overall to Baltimore for Lamar Jackson, and it kind of just pushed me over the edge. So it needs to be said. I'm going to say it. I like Lamar Jackson. I think he's worked hard to get better. I think that guy's a gamer, all that stuff. His teammates love him. I'm all pro Lamar in that regard. But Lamar's not an elite passer, okay? And now that he's no longer an elite runner with the ball, he is no longer a great quarterback. And especially he's not a great quarterback when he costs 74.5 rocks a season this year and next. If the Raiders want to continue on into something that's even less than mediocrity, because they haven't even achieved mediocrity for a decade, then make that trade. Send the number 1 overall pick to Baltimore for Lamar Jackson. What an absolutely brain-dead move. And I cannot believe any organization that Tom Brady is part of would ever make that trade. And they say people are really hungry for a winner. Lamar Jackson is no guarantee at this stage of his career that he's going to bring you a winning season. And you draft Fernando Mendoza. You do your best. If you're going to move anybody in Las Vegas, move Max Crosby. Move Max Crosby and get some more pieces and more flexibility. I love Max Crosby. I understand he's a perfect Raider. He could have been on that 76, 1980, and 1983 teams. He's a perfect Raider. But the truth is, move him. Want to move him to Los Angeles? Okay, move him to Los Angeles with the Rams, right? But to make that trade, I thought that was the dumbest thing I ever heard. I'd love to hear your feedback. Chargers hiring Mike McDaniel as OC to replace outgoing Greg Roman. I think that was a pretty good. I think that was a pretty good deal there for the Chargers. And then of course, let's see here. Where are we at? Yeah, I think we got it. Cool. All right. And then former Ram tackle Zachary Thomas. Remember, he played the opening game in 2024. No, it was the Monday night game in Cincy when he got just chewed to the bone by Trev Henderson. He's been bouncing around the league ever since. He has signed a future contract with the 49ers. And the Raiders have signed former Ram long snapper Alex Ward, as a futures contract. And I'm perfectly happy with Jake McQuaid. Is everyone happy with Jake McQuaid? I'm happy with Jake McQuaid. I don't know. There's something about the Rams, at least their kicking unit, seems so much. It's becoming less and less of a how would you say, an inflamer of your stomach acids, right? Your stomach acids are a little more calm the way things have looked with this new setup of Jake McQuaid and Harrison Mevis, right? I've been waiting all season to say Mevis is a butthead, but the guy has done really, really well. All right, keep on moving here. Irvin Arroyo, thank you for joining us. Please hit like and subscribe. Thank you for joining us. So anxious for this game. Hope we prevail. Can I just ask, do you really want to see a great game, people? I need comments here. I don't want to see a great game. I want 42-7 Rams or something. That's just what I want. I don't want a heart pounder. Manny Vasquez, the media is pumping up the Seahawks, but they haven't played a good team since they last played the Rams. And of course, that took a lot of philanthropy by the Rams, right? It took a whole lot of graciousness by the Rams to give Seattle that win, and some help by the NFL. So you had not only the Rams' graciousness, but you had divine intervention from the league to give them that 2-point conversion. So I think you're on to something there. I am not caught up with that blowout of the 49ers. I'm just not. Johnny Boyler, a few of the Rams players probably want some money. They definitely deserve it, which will take the money and which will shop around. Yeah, I agree. There was a note there. I was going to talk about the draft here in a second, but I'm going to let it ride. We're in the 50-minute mark. But Cam Curl, I saw this note that the Rams may be open to extending Cam Curl, and you've already signed Quentin Lake. I like Cam Curl. He's young. He's playing at the top of his game. I'd love for the Rams to bring Cam Curl back. And I loved what Devontae Adams said about a week ago. Do you remember what Devontae Adams was quoted about a week ago as saying? I don't know who he was being interviewed by. Was it Stephen A. Smith or somebody? He said, you could chase the money, but the grass isn't always greener. That being in LA is the greenest it's going to get, when he was talking about the level of the organization. And the organization was something you really should chase after. So maybe some of these players might give up a little bit of the lechuga, the cash, the lettuce, to stay with a team that gives them an opportunity to win and make history. Now everyone's got, and I don't fault anybody for going and get their paycheck, but yeah, that is something to think about. And the Rams have locked a lot of guys up. I think they're going to come to a crisis though when it comes to Byron Young. He's got a sore knee right now. I don't think that's as much of an issue, but that second contract, when it would kick in, he's going to be 29, and kind of a late bloomer, maybe not as much mileage, but you got Josiah Stewart producing, not at Byron Young levels, but you got him. You got DeJuan Johnson, who's really become very important this last month since they started playing him, and he's fully an edge guy now. He's not a DT anymore, and so you wonder what the Rams are going to do, because you're definitely going to extend Verse. I think Verse has really shown himself again. You're going to extend Verse, and then you got Puka, right? You got Puka coming up. Let alone, what are you going to do with Avila? Avila is going to be in the final year of his rookie deal next year, and then so is Warren McClendon. And I think Warren McClendon has acquitted himself really well. I don't see the Rams drafting a tackle in the first round. I just don't. I could see the Rams drafting a tackle in the second or third round for a depth piece. But I think depending on if Stafford comes back, I think they're going to get weapons. And the team can use another big play wide receiver given Puka's style of play and given Devontae Adams' age, right? And so it's going to be really interesting to see who gets paid and who doesn't. There you go. Boom. Also, I did see something, and I didn't get any response back. I was watching Coward a couple days ago, and he was talking like Stafford's a free agent, but unless something's changed, let me know. Last I saw, Matthew Stafford is signed for next year for about 48 rocks. I think that was part of the deal coming into this year, that he was locked up and we didn't have to worry about it when he comes back or if he comes back in 2026. Gilbert Gonzalez, speaking well of Big Ben, right? Skoranek. We love that guy. Did a great job, great special team. I loved it when they put him at fullback, right? I loved it when they put him at fullback. You know, they even ran a jet sweep with him and he scored a touchdown. Mike Gutierrez, I agree with you on Lamar. When you have a tight end like Bowers in Vegas, you need a quarterback who can get him the ball. Absolutely. And you got Genty too, right? You need a downfield quarterback. You need to go and get Fernando Mendoza. It would be such a Raider move to make that trade. ESG, I think Lamar has reached his ceiling. Yeah, and he's not a bad quarterback. It's just he's not an elite passer. And he becomes a little more readable when he becomes more containable, and he's much more containable. We're not seeing those 75-yard home runs anymore. Let's keep on going here. TCI, completely agree with your opinion on Lamar. His best years are behind him, and he's so expensive. He's so expensive. Gilbert Gonzalez, kicking game is no longer a heartburn. Yeah, I don't need any Pepsid when the kicking team goes out there. There we go. Johnny Boiler. All right, you're my ambassador of Quan. I want a 37-17 one. Yeah, and that 17th point comes on the last play of the game, right? There we go. Johnny Boiler, Rams win big. I felt they could have won big in Chicago. I feel they could win big here. I really do. I'm not as enamored with Seattle. Now, the problem that's going to create an issue there is familiarity. And because there is familiarity, that's something that keeps the game tight. Johnny Boiler, Seattle scores late in garbage time. There you go. That's what I wanted to hear. All right, what else we got here? G's Nuts, thank you. I haven't seen you for a while, man. I understand new format. I'm on at different times. But 38-13 Rams. That's the kind of sugar Joe T likes. There we go. Let's see. ESG, I am hoping for a blowout. I want to enjoy my beer. There you go. Absolutely. I just want to enjoy the game and talk trash, right? Me too. Let's see. Manny Vasquez. I saw an interview with Curl, and he says as a seventh-round pick, he plays with the chip on his shoulder every year, and I agree Rams need to keep him. I just think he's been exceptional this year. Exceptional. Okay, there you go, Steve. I knew I was missing somebody. Got to pay the conductor as well. Absolutely. You think if Rams do go all the way and win, Stafford retires? It would be very Elway-esque to pull that. Depends on how he feels. Probably depends on what his wife says. He's made more money than he'll ever be able to spend. It's generational upon generational upon generational wealth. And what's his body like, right? If he's still flinging them and not taking hits, this team literally is built for one more year. We talked about that at the end of 2023. This team had moved into a 3-year window, 24, 25, and 26. Dotson's under contract for another year. Avalaw's under contract for another year. Byron Young's under contract for another year. So you're in this zone where that window is still open. Puka is going to get another contract before that, but he's in line there in that same 2026 window. So if he comes back, this team is going to be viewed as an opportunity to run the table again, and again with all of its draft picks, unlike in 2021. The other thing is, what more, right? He wins MVP, wins the Super Bowl, from my lips to the football gods, small g ear. He wins it. What else is there to prove, right? What else is there? And then he just rides off into the sunset. I would understand it both ways. I can see it both ways. I just hope he doesn't go Andrew Luck on us and decide to retire in August. I thought Andrew Luck, it had to be baking in his brain when he retired that he was going to retire. And I felt like he should have given a heads up to the Colts. I know I got into some arguments with some friends on that Luck didn't know the Colts anything. No, he just owed them a heads up when you're going into the draft of that year he did retire in the offseason. I just hope if Stafford decides he's going to retire, he lets us know somewhere between February 8th and March 15th when the new season begins. And God bless him and everything. But the window will close at least for a year if he retires. I will say this. I don't know if there's anybody to draft this year, and I don't think the Rams will. You can't get Fernando Mendoza. Well, if the Raiders are stupid enough to give up a number one for overall for Lamar Jackson, they might be stupid enough to trade with the Rams, but I don't know if they will. But if he does, I would make a pitch to let Jimmy G be the bridge quarterback in 2026. Jimmy G did get his team to a Super Bowl. Is he good enough? Is he better than Brock Purdy? No. Did Jimmy G miss some throws in that Super Bowl against the Chiefs? Yeah. But Jimmy G, if healthy, is good enough to get the team to the Super Bowl. Let him be your bridge until you find out what you want to do and see how the land lays. I would be all down with that if Stafford should retire. I know I went long on that one, but I love talking that subject. Juice Man, Stafford should come back. I don't see why not. Brady left at 42, I believe. He's got 4 daughters. And, I don't know. The beating he took, right? I don't know. I won't be upset if he does. I really want him to come back and we can load up around him with more talent. $5 Steve, I'd go wide receiver, cornerback, and center in that order in the draft. Actually, I'd go wide receiver DT. I'd go with another beast in the middle of that defensive front. Because you don't know, is Poona Ford going to give us what he gave us this year? I'd want another guy, another beast in the trenches, and I'd look at corner in the 2nd or 3rd round. Obviously, definitely a center. I don't know if there's a center projected in the 1st round, but yeah, center, guard. I'd be thinking of one or two of those guys there because Kevin Dotson's got 1 more year, and Avila, haven't we all just wanted more out of Avila, right? Johnny Boyler, if he was to retire, who would we get or just start Bennett? Like I said, I'd go Jimmy G. Bennett would probably play because Jimmy G has been known to have a glass jaw. And I've gone full over an hour. This is like the longest show I've done in 1,000 years. Willie Bowen is with us. I want the LA Rams to have the score 42 to the Super Sea Chickens. I'm down, Willie. I'm down, right? And let's remember somewhere in the 7th round, maybe we can get Willie a fullback. Willie's always dreamed of the Rams having a fullback. The LA Rams are set at the wide receiver position. They're set at wide receiver for this year, Willie. But Puka Nakua's style of play is going to catch up with him. Devontae Adams, he's been great, but he's not the Devontae Adams that was in Green Bay. He's still very high level, but he's been okay, right? He hasn't been that great. And after that, Tutu Atwell's gone. Whittington, Monkfield, Xavier Smith, these are all pieces, but I don't know if they're legit guys. And every time you run, at least when I've looked at a mock draft, at number 13, which is the Atlanta pick, Mekhi Lemon is always there. The draft is just deep enough. And if the Rams have a chance to draft Mekhi Lemon, that's where I go. Okay, Willie Bowen saying hi to Manny. Paul, thank you, Paul, for clicking on. Go Rams. Absolutely. We're all wanting a blowout, Paul, so we don't have to stress on Sunday. Manuel Vasquez, there's no way Stafford is going to retire as the reigning Super Bowl champion and MVP. Really? I mean, I hope not. But, boy, what a perfect moment to walk away. What a validation. I mean, no doubt if he comes back, he'll be ready and all that. But I want him back. But, man, I don't know. I could see him walking away. Johnny Boyler, what are the best position in this year's draft? I haven't really dove deep in that. I know it's not quarterback. And I'm not really excited about the idea of the Rams drafting Carson Beck anywhere in the draft. Manny Vasquez, CB or wide receiver has to be the first pick in the draft. Rams drafted the highest draft pick in the McSnead era. That's 2017 forward. The Rams drafted David Lang out of Michigan, 3rd round, 79th overall in 2019. That's been the highest corner pick. I don't know if the Rams value, because teams that have really paid big money for their outstanding corner end up moving off of them. And I think the Rams have found that you can find value and competency without spending a high number 1 pick for a corner. My thought process on that. I think that I haven't heard the Rams say that, but I'm just looking at their draft record. Let's see. Everyone's saying hi. $5 Steve. Lining up on Puka and Devontae and Lemon would be sick with Stafford at quarterback. And then think about this. The development of Terrence Ferguson. Ferguson is only going to get better if he keeps his nose clean, keeps grinding. We've seen him from a non-factor the first half of the season. We see him now getting more and more targets and snaps, and he's used not like a conventional tight end. He's used as a downfield guy, lining up in the slot, lining up out wide. That's a nightmare. If Lemon is what we think he would be, and the Rams get their hands on him, and then Ferguson develops this offseason, yeah. Also, keep an eye out for tight end, because I don't know if Ferguson is going to continue to count as a traditional tight end. Does Higbee come back? His contract is up. Colby Parkinson, who will come back, it's his last year, but he doesn't have much guaranteed money left. And then Davis Allen's a good journeyman guy, good solid player who was on fire earlier this year. I could see the Rams drafting a tight end on the 3rd day, right? Like Davis Allen was. Let's see. Boom. Baby Stafford's farewell arrival out of John Elway after winning back-to-back Super Bowls. Yeah, remember, was it Pat Bowen said, "This one is for John." And yeah, you can't go out better than that. When you think of everything that Elway went through in his career to end his career with back-to-back Super Bowls, yeah, that's again, you can't fault him if he does. And if he doesn't and he comes back, then I'm all down. Tim Burns, I love the TDs by Adams, but I don't like the less than 50% target success. Some is tight coverage. Some is he's lost a gear. Yeah, I agree. He's still a professional receiver. He's still really good. He's better than Cooper Kupp. And I want him back next year if he wants to play. But he wants this title because he needs that on his resume. He's going to get into the Hall, but does he want to wait, right? Does he want to wait? I mean, look at Torrey Holt. Torrey Holt appeared in 2 Super Bowls. He's still waiting to get in because there's such a glut at receiver. If you don't have a Super Bowl, how long is Adams going to have to wait before getting to Canton? So, yeah, I think he's very productive, but he has slipped a little bit. You can tell, and that's okay. We get it. But he's a pro's pro, and he's a Ram, right? He's a Ram. Pippi, 413, thank you so much. Rams need to have a 4-quarter game. Absolutely. Rams need to have a 4-quarter game. All right, let me do this one real quick here. Rams losing another 3 coaches this year. What's new? Hey, man, as long as we get those compensatory picks, if Nate Schalise gets hired, I am down with the get down. Sunday, Broncos and Patriots. Patriots coming to Mile High. I told you guys at the beginning, early on, I don't think the Broncos have anything to lose, right? I think everyone X'd them out of their Super Bowl hopes when the news came on Bo Nix. Jarrett Stidham, he's been around for a while. Somebody likes him. Sean Payton likes him. Patriots liked him. He just hasn't really had a shot. I'm not necessarily a Jarrett Stidham fan, but he has nothing to lose. This guy's been in the league for almost a decade. This is his moment, right? This is his time, right? What did John Parr sing? Once in his life, a man has his time, and his time is now. And what does he have to fear, right? No one expects anything. Patriots aren't perfect. They're still young. They're still kind of ahead of schedule. We talked about some of these teams that could get bounced early. Not very many of them did, but they're not at a point right now where I think you could just give it to the Patriots on the road at Mile High. And so, yeah, I am leaning Broncos for Sunday morning or Sunday at noon. That's where I'm leaning. And then I'm leaning the Rams. I think the Rams are going to win. I can see a path to a blowout, but I also see a path because it's a divisional opponent where it's something frightening like 29-28, and it comes down to a Harrison Mevis field goal with no time left on the clock. It makes you sick to think about it ending that way. But Rams definitely, as you guys said, need to play 4 quarters of ball. Just for those that have arrived late, I've shared with you guys that I felt the KBM, the Kiss Butt Media, buried the lead on why didn't Ben Johnson go for 2 when he could have ended it, coming off the heels of what happened to the Rams in Seattle. But I think what was in the back of his head was the Rams play on all those serious money downs on 3rd and 4th down, and I think that caused him to hold back. I don't think DJ Moore dogged it. I think that's a bum rap. Let's see here. I think Caleb Williams could have been intercepted probably 5 times. I think Kobe Durant could have had another one. And, of course, Spates at the goal line could have had that one. And I also thought it was interesting the Rams moving off 13 personnel in a game with weather. It looked like you're going to pound it. But obviously that wasn't McVay's game plan. And I know McVay's taken a lot of heat for that. But I really do like the bravado of, hey, man, we're going to come out. We're not afraid to do anything. We're not afraid to run any kind of offense. And again, 45 degrees in Seattle on Sundays projected. The noise, that's not going to be a factor for the Rams. Not. It might inspire Seattle because it's always good when your home team is playing well, but I don't think it should affect the Rams. Gilbert Gonzalez, if Matthew is league MVP, Super Bowl MVP, Super winning quarterback, what is left? Wanted to play another 5 years. I'm there. He has become my favorite quarterback. He really has. Joe, when is your next live stream? Man, I don't know if I'm ever going to stop. I'm over an hour today, and you guys are still here. So I look at the numbers, and the numbers you guys live watching, I don't want to leave. I like hanging with you guys, and I feel like I owe you guys for your faithfulness. Just be sure to hit like and subscribe, buy my books. But I want to go on tomorrow, to tell you the truth. I don't know what it's going to look like for me tomorrow, but I want to go on tomorrow briefly. But I'm definitely going to be on Friday, 3:30-ish, and trying to, and I'll give you all my predictions then. But if I can go on tomorrow, I want to. Tim Burns, Pats 34, Denver 27. Make your argument, Chief. Make your argument. Rams 33, Seaskags 30. There you go. All right, Slim Hansen, good night, Joe, and all from Frozen, Iowa. Slim, thank you for joining us. I imagine you're hitting the 7:30 hour back there. Actual David Henry, I love seeing the chat full. Bro, yeah, me too. I do. I think I'm going to cry. I do. It's so much fun. It's so much fun. One of these days, we're going to have to work it out so you guys can call in. Let's see. Mike Gutierrez, this Patriot team reminds me of the Rams 2018. I don't trust them to win the Super Bowl against the more experienced team. Payback, baby, right? Payback. Here's some truth. Manny Vasquez, the Patriots had a cakewalk schedule, and they get teams in the playoffs that are extremely limited. Hey, what is up with C.J. Stroud, right? I mean, you can say the Patriots made him look bad, but he didn't really look great the week before either. What is up? What has happened to C.J. Stroud, man? They're in a dilemma there in Houston. Tim Burns, I have zero stress when Mevis kicks. As much as I pine for Cardi, this was McVay's smartest move this year. Think of that. Think after that loss, you're gone, Chase. Chase, you're gone. And a few weeks earlier, put Alex Ward in the street. Put Josh Cardi in the street, brought him back to practice squad, and the Cardinals took him. But he made bold moves, and I'm not gonna complain if you have Kyle Shanahan Coach of the Year. But let's be honest, the moves that McSnead, I'm sure Les played some hand in that. Let's just call them the McSnead moves, mid to late season. Wow, huh? Changed the course of everything, especially if the Rams can get out of Seattle without a special teams loss or a disaster or a big hit, right? $5 Steve, I need the Rams leading 30-28 with a minute left. McVay calling a pass on 3rd and 8 and a completion. I'll take it. I don't know if I want to see it, Steve. I don't know if I want to see it. I might leave the room. Johnny Boyler, I feel like McVay might want to avenge his sensei, Shanahan. There you go. Absolutely. He did. He helped out LaFleur, right? All that smack talk that Ben Johnson had. Okay, let me go over this one more time, the review of what we talked about at the beginning of the year, and we'll wind this thing down. As we were talking about at the start of the season, we were talking about what record the Rams would have. I think we said the Rams would high end would be 13-4, low end would be 11-6. They finished 12-5. I know I pushed this for the season to be considered successful. Nothing less than a conference final appearance would be acceptable. Well, they're in the conference final. And then I know I pushed this one too. Knock on Formica. Kyron Williams, I said Kyron Williams would fix his fumbling problem. The previous 2 seasons, 23 and 24, he fumbled 9 times if you count the playoffs. In 2025, he's only fumbled twice, week 4 against Indy, and then the killer in week 5 against Fog City. That was on October 2nd, over 3 months and 200 carries ago. Again, knock on Formica. The dude has been money. And I'm wondering in this whole stretch when he got that extension and everything, he knows the team believes in him. And 5th round pick out of Notre Dame, guys. Wow. I also said Philly would be a playoff team, but they would take a step back. And they did. But I also said Tampa Bay was my dark horse team, and they died on the vine. And I remember specifically writing down Sam Darnold doesn't scare me. And I'll use the example of the last 4 times Sam Darnold's played against the Rams, 7 picks, 16 sacks, and a fumble. McVay is 10-5 in the playoffs as the Rams head coach. 5 of those wins have been on the road. Only 3 of those only 3 playoff losses have been on the road. Green Bay, Detroit, and Philly. Home wins against the Cowboys, Cardinals, 49ers, Vikings, and the Bengals in the Super Bowl. Road wins, New Orleans, Seattle. He's won in Seattle with a banged-up Jared Goff replacing John Wolford. And then, of course, Carolina and the Bears. And also Sean McVay is 2-0 in NFC Championship games. Chuck Knox in the Rams' heyday in the 70s lost the conference championship game in 1974, 1975, and 1976. Ray Malavasi lost it in 78, and John Robinson lost it twice in 85 and 89. McVay is 2-0. So put that in your pipe and smoke it, baby. Smoke it. So I have full confidence in the Rams. And going into this game, I think the Rams defense matches up well with the Seahawks offense. JSN is a stud, but we know Cooper Kupp is limited these days. Rashid Shaheed is still not necessarily incorporated into the offense as much as he is in the special teams. Sam Darnold is good, but he doesn't scare me. Kenneth Walker is good, but he's not a bell cow. Zach Charbonnet is gone. They do work their tight ends well, but I don't trust their interior linemen. Gray Zabel is a left guard. Has had a good rookie year, but he's not a game changer yet. And Jalen Sundell at center and Anthony Bradford at right guard are subpar. And it's that Rams interior defense that has been playing exceptional lights out football these last few weeks. And the news was brought here tonight from one of you guys that left tackle Charles Cross, who played only 36 snaps last week after coming back from a hamstring, has a foot injury. So I thought they were resting him. I did not know about the foot injury. So feeling very confident, which is the nature of tonight's discussion. Okay, guys, we got this one in. I think this is the longest RamView ever. But I do appreciate you guys being with me, and do appreciate your support. Please hit like and subscribe and share. I love talking football. I love talking it with you guys, and we'll just go from here. Let me pound you out with some proud heritage, and I hope to see you tomorrow. If I do, great. If not, definitely Friday at about 3:30ish on the 23rd. All right. Bye, guys. Everybody, all you guys. I can't even name all you guys.